everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams, from treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. They offer advice from real deck professionals to give you proper guidance to make your project go smoothly. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway. Deck City, your local deck experts.
Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and our Independence Day sale is underway with some great savings. Get 0.9% interest rates and a trade-in bonus on select new models. You heard right, 0.9% interest rates going on at Coppell. In addition, we didn't want to leave out our pre-owned inventory, so right now on all pre-owned cars, get $1,000 for bringing us your trade, and that's right, get $1,000 off any pre-owned car you trade in. So stop on in the store or at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with approved credit.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beers, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
You finally finished your man cave in the basement. Brand new furniture, huge TV, and all of your collector's items. You're ready for football season. You were so excited until one bad rain and it is all ruined. Don't risk a flooded basement and countless dollars in damages when it can be avoided. Call John Henry's today for a free sump pump estimate for your home.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Join Living Faith Global Methodist Church in Omaha this Sunday, July 16th for a free outdoor concert featuring the band Stones Cry. This will be a night of uplifting, encouragement, and positivity with easy listening style music and worship led by the group of 4. The 402 barbecue truck will be on site with delicious options to purchase while you watch the concert. Don't miss the free outdoor concert featuring Stones Cry this Sunday, July 16th at 6:30 p.m. at Living Faith Global Methodist Church at 182nd and Q in Omaha.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
All right, we are back, everybody. This is the Big Ten Show.
I was like, what are you waiting on? It's going.
I was waiting for it to tell me that we're live, man.
It said it was live.
That is the almost famous Adam Carriker. I am the much less famous Jeff Thurn. This is the Big Ten Show, where if you were watching on YouTube, you saw me staring into abyss as I thought that we were not live yet. So we're here. We're there. And by the way, Adam, I'm going to show you a T-shirt right now. Give me the likelihood of 1 to 10, 10 being it's a slam dunk, 1 being no shot in hell, that they end up in the Big Ten one day.
Okay, how far down the road is one day? Like how far down the road?
Within 10 years.
10 years? No. 20 years? Yes.
You think so? NDSU.
I think so. They got to go D1 first, which they are.
Can't they just go right to the Big Ten?
No, that's why I think in 10 years they join one of the however many conferences we have at that point. But non-Power 5, there's probably only going to be like 3 at that point in time. Non-Power 3 conferences, and then eventually, if they keep kicking butt, which they've been doing as a non-FBS team anyways, then they can go Big Ten. Couple of things. Number one, I didn't know I had turquoise eyes with this shirt. It looks like it, but I'm wearing a.
I thought you were wearing scrubs, man. I thought you were wearing scrubs to start, like you were doing some doctor
You know what I'm bringing up. Don't try to detract from what I'm about to bring up. We've talked about what a V-neck means. What does it mean, Jeff? Let's see if you ever listen to me.
It's laundry day.
It means I could have dressed up, but I chose not to. We've talked about this. I had a teammate in St. Louis, Jay Wade. He wore a V-neck every day. Finally, at the end of the season, we came in as rookies together. He was a DB from Tennessee. I go, dude, why do you wear a V-neck every day? He goes, it's because it's like I could have dressed up, but I chose not to. And that's just my style, bro. And I was like, all right, cool. I can rock with that too.
How often do you wear a V? I don't own one V-neck, by the way. 0.
Pretty much when I come on this show, that's about it.
That's it. Right.
V-necks and collars. I don't wear them much else, but I like to look decent for the show, presentable as much as I can anyway. So
well, thanks for making this place look better than it should. I want to start with a topic that you and I were kicking around off the air one day, and I think it's an interesting concept because honestly, I'm going to take full credit for this if it comes to fruition one day. I've heard no one ever talk about this.
Okay.
And it obviously involves the Big Ten and the SEC probably first and foremost. And maybe if it's the Big 12 or the ACC that sticks around, I really think one day there will be no Pac-12. But when it comes to these super conferences, and the ultimate goal for them is to make as much money as humanly possible on the backs of these athletes until someone tells them they have to do it differently. And with these super conferences forming, as we've seen, the Big Ten adding so many more teams along with the SEC versus the other conferences who are still just sort of dwindling around. Do you think we get to a point where, as we've seen in college football, the 4-team college football playoff, now we're expanding that out? Do you think we ever get to a point where there's enough teams to where the TV money would be monumental enough and it would add, I don't know, we'll talk about the variables to this, but a college football playoff within the conferences to actually win the conference? So not just the 2 best teams play for the conference title, but a 4-team or an 8-team playoff when you have 24 or 36 teams in a conference, and then they battle it out to ultimately win the conference. And then along the way, some of those other teams get more wins on their resume. Is it something that will ever come to fruition?
So much like your North Dakota State question, I think we have to put a time limit on this because 20 years, 30 years down the road, who knows? So I'm going to say within the next 10 years. Can we frame it within that framework? Okay.
In the next decade, right? So
in the next decade.
2033.
So I sat down and I wrote this down. Okay. And we have talked about this particular thing previously on the show because I'm like, eventually there's going to be 2 big conferences, the Big Ten and SEC. And you said, no. And you made a great point. And I think you were right and I was wrong. You were like, no. The Big
Ten. What was that? What was that?
I don't know. If you didn't hear it the first time, I definitely ain't repeat. But I thought about it, and I'm like, dang, what I said earlier. And so for me, the Big Ten's only going to take so many teams because you got to be worth the money. Like Oregon might be worth the money, but not Oregon State. Okay, Washington, not Washington State. Stanford, not Cal. That type of deal. North Carolina, apparently not Duke, so to speak, because we know Big Ten's trying to woo Virginia, North Carolina, those other schools that I mentioned. So I think there's going to be 2 major conferences and then a 3rd major conference of all the teams that the SEC and the Big Ten don't want. And they just kind of come together as a conglomerate. And I think it's going to be the Big 12. I think the ACC is going to dissolve because I don't think you're going to get a Cal or a Utah to travel to the East Coast a ton, although USC, UCLA might have something to say about that. But my thought is the Big 12 because geographically they're in the middle. So all these, I don't want to call them reject teams, but teams that don't have a conference coming together, it's easier if they're in the Big 12, okay? So I think that's the 3rd conference. So looking at 3, let's say 20-team conferences as opposed to 2 36-team conferences, because I do think 3 20-team conferences is more likely because the Big Ten, SEC, each school gets more money if they're pickier with who they bring in. So bear with me, all right? I made a lot of notes for this, okay? I took time to make notes, all right? Now, if I can read them, will be the whole other question. All right, let's say the Big Ten has 20 teams. So my first thought and we know they're getting rid of divisions. But just bear with me here. My thought process: 2 10-team divisions. Okay, so every team plays 9 division opponents. Those are your conference games every year. 3 non-conference games. There's your 12 regular season games. So the 2 division champions play each other in the conference game. So what you're proposing is more than 2 teams. You said all the way up to 8. I only went up to 4. So you can have the 2 top teams in each division play a division championship game. Then those teams play in the conference championship game. Or you could say there's no divisions, which is what I think you're proposing, and then the top 4 teams play at the end of that. And so those are what you're talking about. Okay. Initially, I was like, dude, this is a great idea. You're right. Nobody else has brought this up. But here's what occurred to me: the 12-team playoff and this facade, this mirage of player safety that they don't really give a crap about, but they have to give the appearance of. So we talk about a 12-team playoff with a 12-team regular season plus a current conference championship game as it is now. You're talking 12 regular season games, a 13th championship game. And if you're a 5 through 12 seed, you're going to have to play 4 games to win the national title. That's 17 games. If you're a 1 through 4 with a bye, you still got to play 16 games. I love your idea. I'm not saying it won't happen in 20 years, 30 years. In 10 years, I think people are still going to have the mindset of getting used to playing that many games. And so they're not going to be on the bandwagon of, hey, let's have a playoff within the conferences too. What say you?
I would first of all say on the player safety part of it, I think we've come a long way in the last 10 to 15 years in understanding more about player safety, figuring out ways to make the equipment safer. And I think the NFL is a prime example of someone that lost billions of dollars in a lawsuit about concussions, but has expanded out their season, right? They added an additional wild card team. They figured out ways to implement more football and play on Thursdays, I mind you, on a short week without getting skewered by the PR police. So I know that's bigger, faster, stronger, and next level up. You're getting paid full salaries to go out there as your career. But I think they could be used as a litmus test to go, hey, they're playing more games, and the player safety aspect of this isn't as big of a concern. A decade from now, when I believe player safety will still be front and center, but still continue to see as we move forward, at least, is depending on who's at the top of the conference and what their vision is as the commissioner, how much they can convince the school presidents that this is the right idea. So if you get an old school individual that is all about sort of the college model of the past, but is running a conference now and understands where we are as far as the landscape is concerned, maybe you don't get to a college playoff within the conferences. But, man, they're going to dangle a bunch of – if this catches wind from the networks, which, by the way, why wouldn't the executives at ESPN and Fox and CBS not be listening to the Big Ten show?
Tell me about it.
If they catch wind of this and there's some sort of conversation that starts to snowball, I wouldn't be shocked if this is something that's at least kicked around. And once you get to a certain number of teams, then it becomes a real conversation. I think we're a handful of years away from that, because I don't think maybe they do it with 4 teams once you get to 20. And again, if we just have 3 conferences of 20, we're not too far away from that in the Big Ten and the SEC. So, man, I just feel like there's so much money to be made from doing something like this. And you could work it into where you reduce one of your conference games and you make it like a flex schedule to where you have your last conference game against your conference foe, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan, Ohio State, whatever. And then there's like this flex week or 2, right? And you don't know who you're playing until that final week is done. And all the teams that don't make the playoff, bam, you got 2 or 3 games that 2 games you're playing the next 2 weeks. You make it, bam, you're playing in the playoff. Maybe it's just 1 week because, again, if you lose, you're done. I just feel like they could be flexible with the schedule and find a way to do this and make a bunch of money. And at the end of the year, I'm not one that likes the playoff anyways. I like the old BCS model. I want the 2 best teams that had the best regular season record to play for a championship, because I think the regular season should matter. They've already told us that doesn't matter.
Thank you. Yep.
The regular season doesn't mean anything anymore. It's how you do against certain teams and how you do at the end of the year more so, which is recency bias. I just feel like, man, there could be a play for this.
So first of all, a couple of things. You and I have never discussed whether we actually like the playoff system or not. That is a whole plethora of shows to itself. Let's discuss that one day. For now, let's table it. I think the biggest thing you have going for you in your argument, okay, is NIL, because these are supposed to be student athletes, right? Let's be honest. We're getting away from that image and that mirage as well, which is really what it was. And if we start to see these athletes making hundreds of thousands or even potentially millions of dollars, they're going to view it, like you said, similarly to the NFL. Well, hey, you guys, this is what you do for a living. This is your profession. Shut up and go play football. Shut up and dribble. And so I don't think we're there yet. I predict not in 10 years, 11 years, just so you're wrong, that this is when this takes place. I predict in year 11, this takes over. Okay, so that's my prediction. But you make a fair point, and I think NIL is your biggest supporter because the more money these athletes make, the less player safety is going to be important because they're going to be viewed more as professionals or semi-pros than they are college athletes and or amateurs.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break, and on behalf of the entire 93.7 The Ticket team, we are excited to announce this fall we are teaming up with Husker Extra for the Big Red Brunch. We'll have big names from now and the past from Husker Sports, and that all starts on Wednesday, August 9th for the Big Red Brunch Golf Scramble at Tiburon Golf Club in Gretna. Sign up to play today at omaha.com and find the Big Red Brunch tab. You won't want to miss this on August 9th at Tiburon in Gretna.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. And there are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling. The limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Rich Dye and the double-doubles here. If you had to pass the baton down to the new guy and say, that's the new pipeline, what does that look like?
Conditioning for me ultimately is a game changer. I don't care how much you can bench, how much you can squat. If you can start a game and finish a game in the same condition in the extreme elements, you're going to have the ability to wear down your opponent. And that's what we took a lot of pride in. By the third and fourth quarter, they were dog tired. They knew it was coming at them again. The same it was in the first quarter.
All right, now let's get to another topic here as we truck along here on the Big Ten show. And I can't wait to come back to this. You know, when we hear this December, oh, there's 2 more teams coming to the Big Ten, and we're near that 20 mark. Because I feel like that's sort of the number where it makes more sense when we get to 20 and et cetera. But and I'm not going to give credit to this individual because I cannot remember the dude's name. But he has a great show. I watch it all the time about college football. I'm totally blanking on it, but we're going to steal it away.
Way to be a great journalist.
Dude, I've always claimed to be a gas bagger, not a journalist. All right. So
go ahead. I'll look it up. I got it. Go ahead.
You can find it. But I'm going to start with this. So the college football playoff, we have a national championship game after the playoff concludes. We get 2 teams playing for the Natty. Should we come up with one site where the national championship is always played? Now, if you think about this from an NFL perspective, they rotate the Super Bowl. If it's the NBA finals, if it's the NHL finals, if it's the MLB World Series, all of that.
Final Four.
Final Four's rotated, home teams rotate throughout the World Series, the NHL finals, and the NBA finals. This would be unique, and college football has always been unique. It'd be more like golf, right, where the Masters is always played at Augusta. That's the only comp I could really think of where we always play that. The U.S. Open rotates, the PGA Championship rotates, the Open Championship across the pond rotates.
College World Series, men's and women's, is always
Omaha. There you go. There you go. Omaha and Oklahoma City. That'd be another comp.
Yep.
Should we have one site like Omaha? That's probably the best comp because it's college sports where you always play the national championship. What do you think of that idea? And the idea that came out was let's have it be at the Rose Bowl.
So again, bear with me with this. So it's Josh Pate. Okay. I hope I'm saying his last name right. Pate. And he's at Late Kick Josh on Twitter. Check him out. Okay, so I literally sent this screenshot to Jeff. I was like, we should talk about this too. So we're giving proper credit, and we are kind of journalists here. All right, with some sort of integrity. So here are my thoughts. I said, I'm just going to read what I wrote. Awesome. Initially, love it for so many reasons. Ultimately, though, no. It creates disadvantages in favor of local schools. The difference between golf, which you brought up, and college sports is college sports are recruiting. Golf is not recruiting. Okay. They're not recruiting to play at these certain sites or schools. You earn it by how you play throughout the year. USC, UCLA, you don't think they'd have a huge advantage being right next to the Rose Bowl?
No.
Why you don't think Oklahoma has a huge advantage with the Women's College World Series being right there every year? Well, 3 straight national titles and a 1,000-game win streak says otherwise. Okay. I don't know why Nebraska's not better at baseball. We'll get to that later. You can take shots at me later with that one. Okay. So here's what I wrote. All right, there's more money to be made when moving it around. People get excited going to different sites, going to different locations, as opposed to going to the same location every year. Baseball, college baseball doesn't get the same kind of hype as basketball and football. Part of me, I can't help but wonder, it's always the same location. It's not a like the major bowl games used to be Orange, Rose, sometimes Sugar, Cotton, and Fiesta. I'm sorry, Rose. I'm speaking intelligently. Sugar, Orange, Rose, and then the Cotton and Fiesta have kind of rotated which one's more important over the years. It was Cotton, then Fiesta took over. Now Cotton's probably taken over a little bit again. My point is people want to go different locations. They want to go to different spots. Okay, but what was created by the major bowl games always being in the same spot is, I'll tell you right now, there were certain people who weren't always excited to go to the Orange Bowl every year from Nebraska. Or some people always going, Michigan, Ohio State going to the Rose Bowl. Once you've been there 3 out of 4 years, it's not as exciting. Okay, also it created recruiting disadvantages. Which schools tend to win those bowl games more? USC, Miami of Florida, Florida State, talking about the Orange Bowl. The schools that are closer to home tend to have more success. It's a home field advantage. It's a recruiting disadvantage. And I don't know that it's ginormous, but you can't say it doesn't exist. All right, let's see what else I got here. Here's what I got as well. Okay, first of all, I wish the playoffs were set up a little bit different, but the way it currently is, the first 4 playoff games, once we go to a 12-team playoff, will be at home college sites. Then the next 4 will be at the 4 major bowl game sites. So it's a neutral site, so to speak. I wish it was, until the national championship game, always at a college site, a college home field, so to speak, until the national title game. Kind of like the regular season for college football is always played on a home field until you get to the conference championship games. Okay. And so for me, it's not that way. So here's my thought. Let's preserve some of that same old school college nostalgia that has kind of been obliterated, but let's preserve it a little bit in the aspect of trying to preserve not just the Rose, but the Cotton, the Fiesta, the Sugar, or Orange, whichever 4 you want to prioritize. Okay, because my thought was, imagine just blowing up the NCAA basketball tournament, just blowing it up and not preserving any sort of semblance of it. And so I wanted to preserve it. I wanted to create less of an imbalance. I wanted to create unique, more destinations. Now, for fans to go to, players to go to, I had a blast at the Alamo Bowl my redshirt freshman year. Blast. When we went my junior year, I was 40% as excited to go, even though we were playing a Michigan team that turned out to be probably one of the most exciting bowl games I've ever been a part of and or seen. So here's my thought. Okay. All right. Make the Rose Bowl the most intriguing. If you have these 4 major bowl game sites as your second round sites, not college home fields, which it should be, always make the Rose Bowl the most intriguing matchup of those 4, whatever it is. Just make it the most intriguing. Okay. And make the second round of playoffs eventually one day, if you want to, college home field sites, because if you did that, then I'd be much more open, because now, well, how do we preserve any sort of college football nostalgia at that point? Because if the second round is on college home fields, then I'd be much more likely, much more open to say, hey, let's keep it at the Rose Bowl more often, because at least we're preserving something, which would be the Rose Bowl. Right now, I feel like we can preserve more things until we get to the point, which I think we will one day, when all the playoff games are at college home sites, but we're not there yet.
Okay, I don't really buy too much that it's the home field advantage thing. I mean, maybe. I never played the game, so I don't know. Like, I always feel like, dude, does it matter that you get on a plane and go play somewhere? Like, this home field advantage thing, I think is for the birds. Okay, but I never played, so I don't know.
Can I just point out one thing before you go on?
Yeah.
Just real quick? Okay. that a yes or a no? You're just going to stare at me with your pen up
that's
your
a
nose
yes.
or what?
That's a yes. It was.
Why do you
great.
do you really so over the years, do you think the Pac-10/12 is a stronger conference than the Big Ten?
No.
Yet the Pac-10/12 has a win-loss advantage over the Big Ten in the Rose Bowl consistently. Why is that? And it's really not close over the years.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Sometimes playing with a healthy fear is good because it makes you go, 100 out. Because the more tentative you are, I always told kids, I said, listen, if you don't like this and you don't want to play, don't play. Because you're going to be worse off and get probably hurt more by being tentative in your play as opposed to playing all out.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Proud to be voted Best Vape Shop.
Generation V.
Is thrilled to announce our newest location is now open at 27th and Superior.
Generation V.
Explore the largest selection of vape, Delta 8, Kratom, all your favorite brands of disposables, e-liquid, and premium THCA flower.
Generation V.
We'll guide you through our extensive collection to help you find the perfect fit.
Generation V.
With locations in Lincoln, Omaha, Seward, York, Kearney, and Beatrice. Visit our newest store now open at 27th and Superior in Lincoln. GenerationV.com. E-cigs contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-9462.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
The reason is the top of the Pac-12, I always felt has been more athletic and better athletes. So in a one-game scenario, I think they have an advantage against a, pounded out, wear you down Big Ten. I think over the course of a season, tougher to play in the Big Ten.
Are you aware of the national championship games a one-game scenario? Did you know that?
One-game situation for USC or whoever, and I don't even know. You better look those stats up. That doesn't feel like it's as accurate as you're telling me. About the Big Ten and the Pac-12. I don't know the record. Okay,
right,
you look that up.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna explain why I don't really care if it's at the Rose Bowl always or not. I just feel like, just like the Super Bowl, don't put it in a cold weather environment. Okay, I thought the New York Super Bowl was stupid. Thought the Minneapolis Super Bowl was stupid, even though it was indoors. The fans don't get to experience it. It's about the experience of the fans as much as it is about the players sometimes. So I don't like the cold weather venues. I want nothing with weather affecting the game itself. So I just think New Orleans, Dallas, Arizona, California, and as much as I love South Beach, can get a little rainy, man. And unless there's a roof on it, I'm not a big fan of playing a national championship game where you could have torrential downpours. So that's my only complaint. Like, let's make it indoor stadiums in Dallas and New Orleans, indoor stadium in Arizona, and you could play it out in Pasadena. Rarely do you get bad weather in Southern California. So that would be my only complaint if we had to go multiple locations. But if you told me it was always going to be at the Rose Bowl, I would not be mad about that scenario. You have a record all time here.
I was not able to find it. I was hoping you would talk longer. You normally do. But I was not able to find it in that short amount of time. Here's what I know. I know the Pac-10 has the win-loss percentage record advantage over the Big Ten, and I know it's not close. It's 60. It's worse than 60-40 if I remember correctly. Normally you talk much longer. What happened?
I'm looking right now, man, because this is intriguing to me. All right, like game records. This is yeah.
I told you it goes game by game. It doesn't give you an overall. I did it at one point. I also did. As
of 2014. The Pac-12 holds a slight edge over the Big Ten with 33-30 wins, and that was 2014.
Well, okay. In my defense, I was
So
in college
there.
when I was in college when I looked this up, and the Pac-12 has sucked since I was in college. So
Did you have to write the newspaper and have them write it back to you? I mean, there was no internet when you were in school, man. Don't lie to people.
I'm not lying to the people. It was probably 1,000 to 9, and the Pac-12 has just sucked so much since then. It's gone to 30.
He had to write it in the newspaper and ask a question and wait till the next Sunday for them to print it out for him. That's how that came out.
So here's the deal. Not to backtrack too far in the conversation, but I'm going to backtrack a ways.
Okay.
Because I've always thought they should do this. Going back to college, the conference championship weekend, okay, because we got onto the Rose Bowl track, and I wanted to make this point, and I forgot. The number one team from the Big Ten East, number one team from the Big Ten West play every year, as we know. And eventually it's going to be the top two teams with no divisions. Even if you go top four teams, no divisions, however you want to do it. That means if there's a 20-team Big Ten, there's 16 teams sitting there idle. And so when there was divisions, my thought was have the number two team from the Big Ten West play the two from the East, 3, 4, all the way down.
Final week of the year.
And the Big Ten did that once. They stole my idea once during the COVID season, and that was it. Why don't we do it every year? Why are they sitting at home on their butts? Now, I'm not ducking your Pac-12, Big Ten win-loss record, okay? I just wanted to go back to that. I brought it back up when I didn't have to. I had successfully maneuvered away from it, okay? I stand by the fact that the weaker conference has the better overall win-loss record versus the stronger conference, in large part due to proximity, in large part due to whether they're familiar with, in large part due to it helps them recruiting their top-end teams and making them better. So I'm still right.
All right, man, I'm going to throw one more topic at you, okay? I know we got like a couple minutes left, so I'm going to have you take your pick, okay? Who? This is a simple one. Who's going to have a better year? Cade McNamara, and this is transfer news, right? Big Ten quarterback transfer news. Cade McNamara going from Michigan to Iowa.
Okay.
Or Jeff Sims going from Georgia Tech to Nebraska.
Georgia Tech to Nebraska, Jeff Sims. I don't have high expectations for Cade going to Iowa. Anyone who has to play in the Iowa offense while Baby Ferentz is still in charge. Sorry. I've called him Baby Ferentz for years on the Carriker Chronicles. I don't know if I ever have here, but I'm going to start doing it here. Until Baby Ferentz is no longer the OC, I don't get excited about anyone, unless you're a tight end, who plays offense at the University of Iowa. O-line and tight end. If you play any other position, good luck to you. That's not even Nebraska bias. That's just more, I don't believe in Baby Ferentz. Sorry.
I think this year the seat is hot, pressure's on. They have spent the all out. You're going to see a totally revamped offense.
No, you're not.
Iowa this year.
They're going to put 3 tight ends out there, 4 tight ends.
It's going to be totally different. Spread it out. They're going to have, no back in the backfield, shotgun.
Dude, you're crazy.
Cade McNamara is going to be chucking it around.
They're going to have 8 offensive linemen and 3 backs with no quarterback. That's what they're going to run.
It's going to look like they're playing in the spread. It's going to look like an NFL offense. Baby Ferentz is going to save his job. They're going to score 28 points per game. It's going to be
25.1.
It's going to be Iowa's football at its finest. I'll take Cade McNamara over Sims. Hey, anything else you want to say quick before I kick you out of here?
One quick question. It's because you can't handle me. All right, one quick question. Serious question. Because there is a team that's been Iowa, but a little bit better on a more consistent basis. I don't say that disrespectfully. I say it factually. Wisconsin, who is legit trying to spread out their offense. My question for you, I think over time they'll be successful, but year one, will they be more successful year one in their new offense they're trying to implement than they've been recently in their heavy power run offense that they've had?
No, man, it's going to take a little bit of time. I just think I was listening to Luke Fickell on the Believe in the Badgers podcast the other day, and I just don't think he's putting a lot of pressure on year one to be a home run season. And I think that's good, because if it is, great. But if not, you give yourself that leeway that, hey, we're taking our time to be successful. So, no, man, I'm good with it taking time too, because I think Luke Fickell, wherever he's been, filling in there at TOSU or going to Cincinnati, I think he's done a really good job. So, yeah, it's going to take a little time.
How long will it take?
I think by year 3, they're looking like the offense he wants. And probably
do you think Baby Ferentz is still around in year 3?
Yes, I do. That's the Big Ten Show, as another page has turned here on the program. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. Check us out on all those places. Adam, be well. Till next time. We'll talk to you guys around the corner. Take care.
Happy Hour.
It's really weird also to be like looking at you from these two seats. I've never been able to see your full body when we've done a show.
Do you like what you see?
I don't. I don't.
I'm working out now because I feel like I'm important.
That's not why I'm working out. I'm working out so I can feel better.
Mm-hmm. I need to start working out because when my daughter gets old enough and she wants to have a boyfriend, I need to be able to beat him up. That's the only thing. I'm not gonna like threaten anybody, but I just need. Oh, 100%.
Weekdays from 1 to 2.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Cool.
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had 14 years of successful treatments with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for joint pain today